Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to continue our private school situation. I'm going to cover high school, and I know I said we were going to be here for a minute, but I'm honestly over it. Ready to move on. Let's just get started. High school, obviously 9th through 12th grade, still the same school, still the same private school, still the same friends, except 9th grade was like not one of the best times. I think I went through like this really interesting bout of depression in 9th grade. So like just really quick, depression like versus being depressed. Like people can be depressed, but having depression or suffering with depression is different from being depressed. Being depressed is more of something that you can it's more of something that you can like pull yourself out of, like it passes. Whereas suffering from depression is more of a long-term feeling. I don't know if I'm explaining that right at all, but ninth grade I was really, really depressed. I think that's when most of my self-harm actually happened. And my brothers were off in college, and besides that, like we hadn't really even come up together. Like I realized, I think last year that my brothers and I spent like a lot of our crucial, especially my crucial like coming of age years separated. Like they were with my mom and I was with my dad, so we basically were raised like completely differently, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I was still really depressed. Like I said, I still had the same crew. There were some new kids. I remember one girl, she was a new, and we're gonna call her BB. BB was bullied, but like in a way that it wasn't like obvious that she was being bullied. But like I don't know if she knew she was being bullied. I feel like she did, but like people in my friend group and other times people would like kind of make fun of her about like her size and like the way she talked and like what she wanted her name to be, like what she wanted to go by. And so it was just more like mocking, and I don't know if she knew or not, and I feel really bad about it, but I didn't do anything, so you know. It's not funny, but you know, freaking dances. In high school, when we first came to high school, we were the fish, right? So we had seniors that were assigned to us to kind of be like our like big sister type, like show you how to get through the private school life and how to make it out on the other side, you know? So we had dances. We had a lot of dances, and there was a fish initiation type situation, right? So we were like hazed for a minute, and then we were finally kind of like accepted into high school or whatever. But besides that, like there were dances that we had with other private schools, private high schools. So we would meet all kinds of people from other like schools and stuff like that. We would go to football games, like because our brother school would be challenging another co-ed school or brother school of the sister school of whatever. And those were always really awkward for me because once again, no one ever wanted to dance with me. Nobody wanted to talk to me, and you know why. So I remember like just really disheartening, and I think I really wanted a boyfriend. Like I think we were just really crazy about boys at this time. Like we all just wanted a boyfriend. Like it was almost a competition. It was almost a competition of like who could get the boyfriend first, because everything was always a competition, even through friends. Like high school was literally just me being friends with people, and then also taking on that character trait of not being able to be happy for other people, especially your friends. Like that is not what friendship should be based off of. You should definitely be able to feel happy for the people that you love and the people that you care about. You should want to see them win. Like it's almost shameful that I was even like that. Like, but you know, water under the bridge, right? Oh yeah, and a lot of times I would be upset about it, and my friends would be like, oh, it's okay, like it'll be fine. And then like the next day at lunch, they're like, oh my God, I'm so fat. And I'm like, no, you're not. And if you're fat, I'm bigger than you. So if you're fat, then what am I? Exactly. So it didn't ever make any sense, and they never, ever, ever had any response to that except for, no, you're so pretty. And then say I was ugly. I said I was fat. Like, please. I remember me and my friend, we'll call her M. Me and my friend M got into this like friend group of like another guy, B, and another guy, J. And so I ended up having kind of a crush on Jay, and it turned out that Jay told me that he didn't like me back, but it was because he was gay, and he came out to me, and I was the first person he came out to, and I was like, oh, okay, I get it, like, no problem, like, you should have just said so to begin with, you know, and I kept that secret for him. But then, of course, he ended up getting in a relationship with another girl, and I was like, but I thought you were gay. And he was like, well, I might be bisexual. And I'm sure that internal battle was happening within him. Like, I'm sure, but also, if you don't like me, just say that. Like, it's okay. Like, it's gonna be okay. I mean, I didn't know that at the time, but it was gonna be okay. Like, my freshman year was I had my first ever like real relationship. It was this 18-year-old, yes, 18, that I met at Kroger's down the road, around the corner from my mom's house. And I met him in the grocery line. And all I could do was stare at him because I didn't know how to talk to boys at all. I had no idea how to talk to boys. I don't even know how. I think I found him on Facebook, and I friended him, and then we got into a relationship, which nobody knew about except for maybe my mom, kind of. She probably already knew, but that's who I lost my virginity to. I think I was 15. As soon as it happened, like, my mom knew. Like, she dropped me off at his house, and then she picked me up, and she knew immediately, of course, because moms know everything. And my dad was like, no. And she wasn't even supposed to tell him, actually, but she did. And so he was like, nah, no, that's not gonna work out. It's not gonna work out. Y'all can be together. But then hit me with the, oh, but I did get you some tickets to go see Drake. And I remember being so mixed emotions. I was like, how are you gonna say that I can't? How are you gonna say that I can't? And then give me Drake tickets. How are you gonna say that I can't? Like, I don't know how to feel, but it's okay because I went to go see Drake, and it was amazing. And then, like I was mentioning, like not being able to be happy for your friends. One of our friends in my group, we'll call her S, gotten into a relationship, and she's actually like marrying him. They've been together forever, so there's that. And when she first met him, when they first kind of got to a relationship, of course, because we're jealous and evil, couldn't be happy for her. We kind of ostracized her completely. Like, we didn't talk to her, we didn't sit by her, we stopped inviting her to stuff. Like, because for what? You have a boyfriend now. Like, you don't need us. And that's the attitude that we had. I feel really bad about it, you know. I think I've apologized, but sometimes you just can't apologize enough for certain stuff, you know, like not sticking up for your friends and like tearing them down, you know what I mean? So yeah, and then I feel like, what else was in 9th grade? Oh yeah, I had a friend, me, M, and another girl, C. We used to hang out a lot, and we used to go to the movies. I remember this one time we went to the movies, and we had just seen a scary movie called Mama, and it's not even that funny. I'm not even gonna tell the story, actually. Fuck it. After 8th grade, since I was no longer failing Spanish, went to 9th grade, and I was able to place in, I think it was advanced Spanish 2 or something like that in high school. And so it was crazy with the Spanish class, because as we got older, like as we went through the classes, the class just got smaller and smaller and smaller. I think there were only like 5 of us left by the end of high school for AP Spanish. Like, and we became a little family though. Like, we were a cute little Spanish family. that class brought so much anxiety because we used to have to do this like 2 minutes. We used to have to read a Spanish article and give a 2-minute presentation about it in Spanish. And we also weren't allowed to speak English in the class anyway. So it was just really nerve-wracking and we all hated it, but it was fine because we were never gonna make another person feel like they were doing a bad job, except for this one time where this girl, it was so awkward. This girl was giving her presentation and then she just stopped in the middle of it. It was like, I can't do this. And then my friend M, really bad at like being in awkward situations, she will laugh. So it was just seeing her laugh and then me trying not to laugh because it wasn't funny. It was just awkward and we didn't know how to react. And so the teacher was like, well, you're gonna get a 0. And I was like, it's so awkward. I'm so sorry about that. Anyway, 10th grade was even more interesting and more full of hatred and jealousy because that's when people started driving. One of my friends, because she was the oldest, M, again, was getting her license and none of us wanted her to get her license, and then she would have been the first to have a car, and we were just so unhappy for each other. Like it was so toxic. Like, yeah, that brought more jealousy. And then I failed my driving test the first time, which sucked. And back then I thought it was the end of the world, not because I was a teenager, but my reaction to it was very, 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 very extreme. Like I really wanted to end things, and that now I know is part of like BPD. Now I know that extreme, reaction was because of something else. Oh my God, how could I have forgotten? Oh, we have to go back to 9th grade. I might have to go back to 8th grade. My friends and I were writing a book. I don't know. I just remember us deciding to like collab on a book that we were gonna write about like about our lives. Like that was the one thing though, and now you know. Okay, back to 10th grade though. But like 10th grade though, actually, we all ended up having relationships. So S and K were together, me and T were together, and she and M and C were together. And so I met my high school boyfriend there was a freaking musical, Sound of Music, so I was in choir or whatever. And I wanted to do something different because why not? And so I decided to do the lights for our musical at the time, for the Sound of Music. And he was in it, and so we were just waiting to be picked up. And it was just me and him. And we ended up talking. And then I think he left first, but I don't remember if he left something or I left something. I think he left something, and so I gave it back to him, and then we just started talking, and then we became together. But still, everything's a competition. Who has the best relationship? Who's doing the most? How far have you guys gone? Blah, 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 blah. Like, it's all a competition, always and forever, yes. But we started going to, like, dances. So, like, homecoming was a big deal every year. And we always got ready with each other, and we always made plans with each other. I remember one specific event, and I think it was 10th grade, where M had tickets to go see Taylor Swift, and M and S made a group chat, like without me, basically saying that I should not be considered to go with M because I don't like Taylor Swift. And I understand, yeah, for sure, but I just don't understand why it had to have been done in secret. Like, you could have just said that to my face, but now I have to walk behind your computer screen. We had laptops. Behind your laptop screen, I can see the chat that you're having as I'm like walking to get something or go to the bathroom or whatever. And now I know you guys are talking shit about me. So it's stuff like that, and it happens all the time. And again, the common theme here is just me being there for people who I remember in high school and in middle school too. Like, middle school was easier because I was only there till 6th grade, or I started 6th grade, and they didn't know me like that. But when they found out my birthday, like everybody's birthday came, and their friends would decorate their locker with like wrapping paper and candy and bows or whatever. And my locker was never decorated. You know what I'm saying? Like it was never decorated, but everybody else's was, of course. But my birthday was just too hard to manage because it was after Christmas break, apparently. So they didn't have time to get everything together, as if going during the break was not an option. Like, okay. I mean, that's it. I think as I get older, things started to get a little bit more unstable for sure. Like 11th grade, still with my high school boyfriend, T. I started losing weight, I think, towards the end of the year. I started just watching what I ate and writing it down. But then I kind of feel like it turned into like just not eating enough, and I lost a big amount of weight in a short amount of time. So again, homecoming, prom, taking pictures, same group, same crew. I don't remember if M is still with C, but S is still with K. Best believe. Forever and always. Freaking, I think it's 11th grade history, US history paper sucked. It was like 20 pages and I hated it, and I got a B, so whatever. I do remember some highlights from 11th grade. My dad got me a Mini Cooper for my birthday, and he hid it from me, and that's the only time I've ever been surprised by anything ever. I don't know how he got it or where he got it and put it. I don't know what happened, how, but when I woke up that morning and went out to the garage, there was a new car, and I was like, this is for me? And so, but also, like, this was the year that my grandfather passed away, so that was really hard. And I remember, I was telling you guys about Duke Tip. I was able to go summer going into 8th grade, summer going to 9th grade, and summer going to 10th grade. I was not able to go summer to 11th grade, and that really tore me up, guys. Like, the last time I had gone, I had made so many friends, and that was just so bizarre. Like, I was comfortable, and I felt safe enough to like actually be myself the first night and make friends, and I did, and I had the best time. I had the best time. And I remember remember the girl I was telling y'all about before that I went with, or maybe I didn't tell you, but there was a girl that I was friends with, and that's kind of what made us friends, was going to camp together. The first time we went together, we went to Kansas, and it sucked because she ditched me. And then after that, we ended up going to different campuses. She went to the Duke campus, and I went to the Georgia campus. And that's when I fell in love with, I was in love with veterinary medicine before that, though. And that's another story for another day. But also in 11th grade, I decided to go natural. I started my natural hair journey, and it was cool. I remember seeing my first curl. I was like, oh, I didn't know I had curls like that. So yeah, it was cool. And I think I went to see Macklemore and Beyonce with my mom that year too. We went to see Macklemore, bought us tickets, and we were on the general admission, so we were right up at the front. And I remember one of her favorite artists opened for him, and we didn't even know she was gonna be there. And she saw her, and it was just so perfect. And then my mom also won us Beyonce tickets on the radio. Crazy. She's so amazing. Like, we do everything together. Literally my best friend since day one. We've not always been super, super close, but like ride or die, always here for you. Yes, that's my mom. Go mom. And then 12th grade sucked. 12th grade sucked. It started with my dad getting super, super sick. He had a pulmonary embolism, and he coded for like an hour, but I didn't even know like what was going on at the time. Like, I was so confused. Like, I was at my boyfriend's house, T's house, and I had all these missed calls because I left my phone on the counter, and I was like, what is going on? I was like, I gotta go home. So I get on my way home, and then my aunt calls me, and she never calls me. And as soon as I'm about to turn onto my street, she's like, you need to go to the hospital, drive slow, be careful. And I'm like, what's going on? She's like, your mom wants to let you know later. So I get to the hospital, and I'm like, Mom, what's going on? And she's hysterical, like inconsolable, like as you would be if you saw your ex-husband passed out on the floor unconscious in the ER. Like, and so she was telling me, oh, like he coded. And I was like, what does that mean? At the time, I didn't know what that meant. And it just meant that his heart stopped. And I was like, oh, word. And in that moment, there was confusion because she said the word stopped, past tense, right? So I was like, oh, that's bad. They got him back already. So it was, that's cool. So I sat down, chill. I let my boyfriend know what went on. And, and then it was like an hour we were down there. And I don't think I registered what we were doing down there for that whole hour. That whole hour that we were down there, he was not alive. He was not alive. They were working to get him back. And so when it was all over and they were going to transfer him to the heart and vascular unit, and shout out to Memorial Hermann Hospital, not sponsored, but I love them. They saved my dad's life. Because they did not have to work on him for that long. And so when it was all said and done and they got him back and they were going to transfer him and put him on ECMO, which at the time I didn't know, but that is life support. He was on life support, and they put him in a medically induced coma. And I was chill about it. I was like, word. And then, eventually I found out what ECMO was, but I remember it was really rough. And I missed the first day of senior year, which was a big deal for me. I really wanted to be there. I really wanted to finally sit in that section during assembly. That was us. It was, and I missed it. So there was that, and he was in the hospital for a month or so, maybe longer than that. But then also everything started happening. My friend M, she also got sick. My friend A and M and my boyfriend T and another random guy from another school decided to hang out at A's house and make some food. And we ate that food, and it makes you feel some type of way. You know what I'm saying? No one else got sick from that experience except for her. And so we thought maybe it had something to do with, maybe it was synthetic, maybe something crazy happened, but I don't even know if to this day they even know what happened. It was crazy though. She was in the hospital for a long time too. And she got out and she had to do, we had mother-daughter to get prepared for, which was a fashion show brunch situation where we get to wear designer clothes and walk down a runway and tell our moms how much we love them. And so that was just another thing to deal with. And then my friend S, her grandmother passed away too. So it was just crazy. Crazy time, but I was also experiencing still so crazy. Go back to the night when M and A and T and I are hanging out, and M left the next morning before T and I did. And so T and I were hanging out with A. And A and T and I were in A's bed. And then stuff started happening, but then T was not there anymore, and it was just me and A. So it got a little interesting, but that was one of my first experience physically in that area, and it was cool. We just decided to never tell anybody except for right now that I'm telling you, but you might not know who it is. So I don't know, it was just a crazy time. At that private school, being a senior was such a big deal. We had privileges, wearing this type of shoes we want, being able to go off campus for lunch, and being able to leave early. If you don't have any classes after 7th or 8th period, go home early. Yes, all kinds of stuff that our student government worked super hard for. The person who was our class president, love her. Always able to get anything we wanted ever, and she was so good at it. One of the other really big things that happened in my senior year was that I told y'all I couldn't go to TIP, but they had other programs that were kind of similar for a shorter amount of time. TIP was 3 weeks, and so this was still Duke, but it was for 2 weeks, and I was going to be up in North Carolina in the motherfucking mountains looking at stars, astronomy stuff, And while I was there, it turns out that my high school boyfriend T was talking to some other girl. It turns out that they were having conversations, and I didn't find out until I think T's parents had gone out of town, and I stayed the night at his house without his parents knowing because they were gone. So the morning I woke up the next morning, and y'all, I'm not like this. Like, I don't go through phones. Like, that's not my thing. But something told me to go through his phone. And I don't even know why. But something told me to, and I did. And I found all these conversations about all this sexual stuff, all these nudes, him dragging me about my mental health, and blah, 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 blah. And nigga, when I called my friends to tell them about it, they were like, oh yeah, we're so sorry. We already knew. Oh? Oh, you did? Oh, you did know? Oh. Okay. Okay. For sure. For sure. You knew. And all this was happening at the same time, y'all. My dad was in the hospital. Nothing was going well at all. And I was losing weight by the millisecond. It was crazy. For the most part, like, that's high school, and this is like not, and this was super fast. This was a super fast video, and I'm like crazy that I even got through it all, but that's because that's all I remember. Like, my memory is so bad, y'all. Like I said, Swiss cheese, it's just getting more holes and holes and holes all the day it goes by. Private school was a really good experience as far as my education goes, you know what I mean? Like, I got good grades, and I was told that I would be able to essentially go anywhere I wanted for college, and that just ended up not being the case. And the bubble that that school created did not prepare me for the real world. You know, someone like me in the real world. I did not expect my life to pan out how it has. And my self-esteem has had to have been, you know, rebuilt up, completely broken down and rebuilt. Spending 7 years with girls who don't look like you, who don't sound like you, who can do their hair in 30 minutes or 2 hours, or, you know, or thin and don't have butts or boobs, or, you know, any type of figure at all. I think that really played a big part on me. Like, I wasn't seeing people who looked like me, and the people that did look like me didn't really look like me because they were thinner. Like, they were thin, you know what I mean? So at least I have that upper hand, whereas I'm just big and you know, that's how I look. But I don't think I can remember anything else. This video was super short. High school, just the way that it ended, I thought that I was going to be friends with the girls I was friends with forever, and it just did not happen that way. So that's another thing that I did not expect to ever happen. Like, so many things, you know, the way that I grew up in that environment. Like, I just thought things would have turned out a whole lot different, that's all. And it's not a bad thing, it just is what it is, you know? So yeah, I think that's it. If I think of anything else to say, I will pop in here and we'll do that. But I think that's it. I don't think, let me go through my notes just to be sure. I think I was gonna share some retreat letters with y'all, because we will go on retreat and we'd always write letters to our future selves. So let me see what I wrote to me, hold on. Let's see, this was our semi-formal. That was like 10th grade, huh? It's a dance. I think it's a dance that the 10th graders put on, I think. Anyway, our theme was the greatest show on earth. Y'all can see that. This was 2015 prom, Old Hollywood Glam. That was our theme that we put on. I don't even remember what this is supposed to be from. I think it's Mother Daughter, maybe? Yep, Keep Calm and Graduate. I still have that too. Here's my acceptance letter for when I got in. Yep, from a senior. I think this is a letter to me. Yo, yeah, it is. Okay, this is my 11th grade letter to me, my senior year. Don't want to read it? Yeah, I'll read it. It says, wow, we made it. Bet you didn't think you could, but I know you did. Did you get into UGA? I hope so. If not, that's okay. You're going to college somewhere and everything happens for a reason. It's crazy to think about all that we've been through. Papa being sick, not going to tip, finding out who we are. Oh, I hope you're happy. It always seems like in all these letters, I want you to be happy each year. It doesn't seem to come. Right now, your friendships are swell and you're dating T. I hope we are still together. If not, then I'm sorry. If you broke up over something stupid or fighting, fix it. If you love him and if he fucked up, then it wasn't meant to be. You just got your medicine for your depression. Is it working? How are you feeling? I hope you have found peace. And I know you lost weight. You have to. It's your goal. Don't give up if you haven't. If you have, congrats. I'm so proud of you. Please know that you are not worthless. You are smart and you are beautiful. How's family? Your brothers, mom and dad? I hope they're well. Don't be afraid to try new things and don't be afraid to fail. You will fall, but you can get back up. You are so much stronger than you think. Make sure you're friends with the right people. Are M and M still dating? K and S? I hope so-and-so found someone. I hope so. Continue to be a good friend. Be selfish. Love always. Life is too short and right now you hate yourself, but you can't go into the world like that. Damn. Hopefully you're happy and don't give up on yourself. Listen to other people. What I hope is that you and T are still together. You're both adults now. If you're not a couple, I hope you're at least still friends or not. I hope it was amicable. Keep going. You're so close. Be strong. Be fearless. Everything will be okay. I hope you're in a good place. If not, keep working. Everything will fall into place. You are loved. I love you, okay? Be strong. P.S. Don't get pregnant. And I didn't. Another letter. Another letter. What year is this? Oh, this is 10th grade. Oh, Lord. Okay, so this letter thing, it's getting pretty old. There are some things we need to address. Everything you wrote in your freshman letter is so true. I think it's crazy how wise you were, even back then. But you are a junior now. Oh, a junior, okay. Look, you will be a senior and then off to college. I'm so proud of you. Just continue to be strong. I know it's hard, and I really pray that by now you are out of therapy and found some peace with yourself. Right now you are having a hard time, per usual. I'm sure you still remember the whole issue with that boy. That was just really bad. Hopefully by now you have found someone who loves you, someone different from them, and definitely not your first boyfriend, LOL. I hope you're happy with yourself in all aspects of life. I hope you've reached your goal weight. If you haven't seen by now, you've noticed by now, my weight has always been a thing, always. Hopefully your friends are still you and your friends are still as close as can be. S should still be dating K, and if she isn't, well, that's unfortunate, and I hope the breakup wasn't a bad one. Don't forget about your friends and all the other people like K and other people. I don't know how. Make sure you keep these ties. If you're fighting with any of these people, make up. You only have a little bit of time left. You don't want to spend it fighting. It isn't worth it. Tip, how was it? I hope your last year was everything you hoped. I didn't get to go. I know it was hard saying goodbye. Was Joe there? What about James? I hope you had fun. Are you applying to UGA? You better be a future vet. Well, I'm running out of time. Hopefully family as well. If not, you can get through it. I know it's hard, but whatever you're experiencing will come to an end. I promise. Just stay strong for me, okay? So that was junior year. So the last one I wrote was senior year. Another one. This is from 2012. I don't think I'm gonna read it because it's literally the same thing that I say to myself every year. You can get through it. You can get through it. You can get through it. And last but certainly not least, the cherry on top of our private school journey was my little doily that I wore at a senior high school graduation. So yeah, that was fun. I mean, it's okay. It is what it is, you know. The education was great, but for the way that my life has panned out, I don't think I needed to go through all of that. But hindsight is 2020, and neither me or my parents could have known how my life was gonna be. You know, for me to just be where I am now, it was unnecessary. But you know, it is what it is. That just means I'm really super, super smart and have really good skills, and you know, all the other stuff I learned while being there. Now I just have to unlearn a lot of stuff from being there. So yeah, thanks for watching. I made this video a little bit longer than it needed to be, just because I felt like I said I was gonna be here and we was gonna be here. We're not, we're gone. We're getting to the nitty gritty. There's gonna be a lot of triggering stuff coming up for college and onward, because college sucked. Yeah, so thanks for watching. I hope you guys come back, and we'll talk again soon. Let's hang out. Bye.